Hello, this is Rio with Scott Leroy Marketing, and today we're going to go over how to create an open house flyer and embed that flyer onto our command site. As always, we want to start off by going to agent.kw.com. Here we will log in with our username, which is typically your first initial followed by your last name and some number, and then our password. Once you've logged into your command home screen, you can go ahead and navigate to Designs so we can start to create our open house flyer. To do that, there's a few different menu options on the left-hand side. You want to select Designs, which is towards the bottom with the paintbrush icon. When you hover over it, it will say Designs. Once you come into the design section, you'll want to go ahead and start off by clicking Create Design. For the purpose of our video today, we're going to select a print design, which is going to allow for us to create a PDF for printing. Click Continue. You'll now be brought into the editing section of WeBrand, which will allow for you to select your template and really customize what you want your open house flyer to look like. And today I am using an incognito window of Firefox. We've seen that Firefox does have the best compatibility within designs. So now that your templates are being brought up, you can actually go ahead and select listings because that's going to allow for us to select an open house template. You have a luxury open house. There's actually some templates for luxury open house flyers, but for today, we're just going to stay under listings. You see there is a wide variety of templates for you to use, and once you select yours, you can just click the red Use button up in the right-hand corner of the template. Clicking that will actually bring you directly into your template where you'll be able to add photos, edit the listing details, and so forth. Now, this is all full of stock information right off the bat, so no worries. We're going to be able to edit all of this per our preference. So in order to remove these stock photos, that's going to be the first thing I want to do is remove the stock photos and then add in my information. I'll add back in the photos I would like to use after that. So to do that, you'll just right click on the photo and just click cut. Now we'll do that for the rest of the photos. There's a couple of cool different options that you can do with this. You can also remove the background of a photo if you need to. You can drop it to the back if you need to. But for today, we're just going to go ahead and remove all of these stock photos. I am going to move this over just a tad. If it will let me. So I'm going to move this over, line that up with the rest of my text. Its contact details are going to be a little bit small for my website, so I'm actually going to increase the font, which you can do right up here when it's selected. I'm going to make my text box a little bit longer because I know my contact details are going to need that. I just want to move my agent name as well. Just get that lined up with my contact info. There really is a lot of creative freedom that you can have with these flyers. And in order to edit the text, you just want to double click. You can actually double click to highlight all of it if you wanted to erase all of this and just start new with a fresh date. I'm just going to update my month and day. And say these open house times are correct. And you can edit all of your text going forward. Not like that. Just want to line that back up. All right. Again, just to edit the text, sometimes it can be a little finicky, but you can just double click and it will highlight all of it. And I have my address. I'm just going to paste it right in there. Say I wanted to increase my font size a little bit just for visibility purposes. You can actually pull the box and enlarge that as well if you need to. There's bedrooms and bathrooms as well as square footage you can update. You would just double click into that. List price, you can update this same as the rest of the text. You would just double click into the text box. There's actually a section in this particular template for some remarks. So I'm going to go ahead and add my remarks here just by double clicking into it, selecting all, and pasting my own remarks over it. I'm going to move this down a little, just enlarge my remarks a tad. Center it. Now the stock text, see it for yourself, contact me to RSVP. I'm actually going to leave that in there because I kind of like that, how it looks. Agent name, you can go ahead and update this to your own name. Contact details. There's a spot for your website, email. You really do have a lot of creative freedom with this as far as how you want it to look within your site. I'm just putting in some basic contact information right here. Just to give an idea of how I want my clients to be able to contact me. Now this is a little bit off center, so I do want to drag my text box out just to allow for that to populate correctly. You can add your app code if you want. I'm going to put my app code in. You just double click and select. And for a DBA name, this is a stock placeholder, but you are able to actually remove it if you click on it. It should come up with your Office Center logo under My Assets. And you can actually remove this by right-clicking and just hitting Cut. I'm going to replace it with my personal logo or my company logo, resize that so it will fit within my template, just drag it down. Now this is a little bit too big still, so I'm going to resize it a little more. And I'm happy with how that looks. Now, the last thing we need to do is add back in our photos, which we can do by clicking images on the left-hand side, add, and you can actually upload from a Google Drive, from your Dropbox, from Facebook pages, but for today's video, we're going to upload directly from our computer some images that I have of the listing that we're going to hold the open house at. So you can just upload these directly from your computer or again from Google Drive, Dropbox. There's a few different options that you have. Now this is not going to pull them directly onto your template. Here we're going to show you how to do that in just one moment. Now there's a few different options you can do to pull these photos onto your template. You can either hit this plus sign right here and it will drag it directly onto that template for you where you're able to resize how you would like it to be, and just drag that around per your preference. So that looks good where it is. Another way you could do it is just click on the photo and drag it directly onto the template, which will pull it over just the same. Either method will do the same thing. So we can just resize these photos, pull them around a little bit just so they match with our template a little bit better. Move this up. And that one looks good, so I'm going to move my last photo on over. Just resize this one real quick. That does need resized as well. All right, and my photos look good. So this PDF is actually ready to download and embed onto my site. So in order to do that, you'll just click the download button. PDF for printing should already be selected. If not, you'll want to select PDF for printing and click download. Now that this is saving, we want to go ahead and open up our Google Drive because we do need to host our PDF onto our drive in order to properly embed this within our site. So I'm just going to open up Google Drive in another tab. You can access that by going to drive.google.com. Once you get to your Google Drive sign-in screen, if you're not already signed in, you'll just use the Gmail that you would like to use for hosting and your password. It should bring you directly into your Google Drive home screen. Now that you have already saved your PDF onto your computer, you should be able to upload this directly into your Google Drive. So I do have my PDF here in my recent downloads. I'm just going to pull it right on over into my Google Drive. Once you have your PDF uploaded into your Google Drive, you are going to need to update the link permissions. This does need to be a public link in order to properly embed it within your site. So in order to do that, you're going to just right-click directly onto the document that you need to update. You're going to click Get Link, and you'll see right away that it is going to show that it is restricted. So you want to click the drop down and change that to anyone with link. So that should have updated the permissions. We'll go ahead and hit done. So now that our PDF is ready to embed within our site, we're going to go back over to our site and set up our page real quick. Our PDF here is done, so we can actually click done and go out of this. This is going to bring us back into our designs. And from here, you actually want to go to your consumer section, which is going to bring you into the back end of your site. It's going to be the very bottom option on the left-hand side of this command menu. When you hover over it, it will say consumer. Once you've been brought into your consumer section, you want to go ahead and select Create New Page. And you want to create it on your agent site. Now we want to go ahead and set this up for our open house flyer. In order to save a page on your site, you must always add a widget. So I'm just going to drag the Download My App widget over here. Drop it onto the page, and it will automatically populate it. Now, we do need a section to insert our code, so we can find that under Content Blocks. Select that, and it will bring up Image or Text. You want to select Text. Drag and drop, and now you'll see you actually do have a text option on your page. So now we need to grab our code. In order to do that, we will go back over to our Google Drive and retrieve our code. So you want to right-click, select Preview, This will open your document up, and you will still need to actually select these three bubbles in the right-hand corner and select Open in New Window. Here's where you will actually be able to retrieve your code. So just to check and see, our PDF looks fantastic, ready to go onto our site. It's branded properly. So we will go ahead and select these three bubbles again, but this time you should see an option to embed item. Click on that, and it will bring your iframe code directly up. So we can just copy, go back over to our website, double click the text box, which will highlight it, and then paste as plain text. So now your iframe code is in the text box where you need it to be. We do want to change our width to 700 and our height to 1000. And this is going to be centered to the right of the page currently, so we do want to type in center at the beginning and at the end of our code. So now that our code is set up, click on the widget, click Configure Widgets, and just save and apply, as that widget should already be all set. Now you'll want to go ahead and save your changes. You want to select yes when asked you to continue to site and app settings, as this will allow for you to actually add the page onto your live site. Select Add Page, and the most recent page we created was our open house flyer. Go ahead and select that and hit Continue. Now we do still need to name our page, and our URL slug we need to put in flyer, and then our SEO description. Make sure you hit save, and it will tell you settings were updated successfully. Now, if you want this to be the first thing people see when they come to your site, you would just click, drag right up to the top. But I'm actually okay with this being the last page on the site right now, so I'm just going to click, drag back to the bottom. Now, in order to see how that looks on my live site, I'm going to click on Agent Site Pages. And you can actually click on the eyeball icon on the right side of the new page you've just created in order to be brought directly to that page so you can see how it looks within your live site. So now I see it's bringing it up already centered to the page, so that is good that our code has properly centered it. This looks like it is the correct width and height. Everything looks really good on here, and now I can use this for my social media posts. I can, if clients would like to view upcoming events that I have going on, there's really a lot that you can kind of customize and do with this feature here. So that is how you create an open house flyer within Designs and embed that flyer onto your command site. If you have any other questions, please just let us know.